Hi, thanks for joining me. It's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. This week, I don't even actually know what to call this technique. So I'm just going to, for now, call this the Cheerful Basket Get Well card. So here's the card I'm going to teach you today. And the technique is actually on the hearts. And well, let me talk as I show you the products I'm using. I'm using Cheerful Basket Stamp Set. So this is from the 2022-2023 annual catalog. And it is on page 35. I would like to thank my friend Cheryl for inspiring me to buy this because she was making swaps with it one day. And looking at the stamp set, okay, it's 9 photopolymer stamps. So it's cute, but I think what made it is the dies that coordinate. So I believe there's 30 dies that coordinate, and I'm actually only using one today. But let me show you. The dies are called the full basket dies. So I think I mentioned last week, starting in 2023 with the mini, the stamp sets and the dies are going to have the same name. So when I was showing the framed florets bundle, the dies are also going to be the framed florets. So awesome that they did that. Thank you, Stampin' Up. So I ended up just using the hearts. But here are some of the dies that you get. And sorry, this looks like it was beat up. It was actually run over. I believe in the envelope when Stampin' Up shipped the order to me, it was in a padded envelope, but the dies are steel rule, so they still are fine in my cut and emboss machine. So disclaimer, if you get an order and it looks like it's been run over and you have damaged product, please call me if you ordered it from me, or please call 1-800-STAMP-UP and talk to demonstrator or talk to customer service. If you're a demonstrator, you can talk to demonstrator support. And then I also picked the stylish shapes. I know I've been using this a ton. I'm using the largest square in the stylish shapes. So let me point my camera down at my station. I'm giving myself 30 minutes to do this today, max, because I have family in town and we have lunch plans. And then I have dinner plans with friends, with a friend's holiday celebration. So a busy, busy weekend. So let me point the camera down and I'll jump right in. I also need to find myself in my feed. Okay, hold on. So let me find myself really quick. I think I might be in the wrong spot. So, oh no, I think I'm in the right spot. So let me see if I popped up for myself yet. And good morning, Elaine. Thanks so much for tuning in live. Hope you had a good week. It has been a week of highs and lows. So I will talk a little bit as I go. Thankfully, it's been more highs than lows, so yay. So again, I'm using Cheerful Basket Bundle in the stylish shapes, and we're going to make a Get Well card. I don't know, you probably have, if you live local to me, you probably have the same situation that I have right now. I have a lot of coworkers and friends that either, or somebody in their household is sick. 'Tis the season of, unfortunately, flu and RSV and nasty cold and that other thing that's been going around the world for 3 years, circulating again. So, I wanted to make a Get Well card for just to have in my stash. I don't have a lot of Get Well cards in my stash, and I feel like we don't have that much Get Well in the catalogs. So, Stampin' Up, if you're watching and listening, we need more Get Well stamps in future catalogs. So let's start with the stamping and then I'll show you the technique. So what I did is I actually cut out a piece of Crumb Cake Cardstock and I did cut it out with the largest stylish shapes square. So we're going to start there. In my sample, I did not cut first. So you can see when I stamped the basket, it's almost like over the stitching of the square. So I definitely recommend, since it's photopolymer and you can see right through it to see what you're doing, I highly recommend that you cut your square first. So we're going to do the basket first. And I am stamping in soft suede ink on Crumb Cake Cardstock. This is super fun. So I'm just going to tap, tap, tap gently with photopolymer and try to go as close to the stitching on the bottom as I can, This is like a really tight fit. And I might be over a little bit with my hearts, but that looks pretty good. And then I'm actually going to take a Post-it note and just put it at the top in case I go over a little bit. You know what? I'm going to do it as a diagonal in case I go over a bit on the hearts. So let's do the hearts. There are dies that cut out the basket, and there are dies that cut out the hearts. For this card, I was kind of casing one that we did at our team meeting this past Sunday. And I'm going to try to hover, and I'm doing this upside down, so I'm hoping that I'm lined up pretty good. I think I am. Ooh, that's perfect. And look at it. It's like a perfect fit on the edges. Oof. Man, I couldn't have planned that if I tried. Okay, live stamping here going on. And then let me just do the sentiment. I'm also just going to do the sentiment in soft suede ink on Crumb Cake Cardstock. And I'll give you the measurements in the notes below. This square was a 3 1/4 inch Crumb Cake Cardstock piece. Oh, that looks terrible. So let me flip that over. Good thing I checked before I closed the ink pad. Let me try again. Press and hold for a couple seconds with photopolymer to get a nice image. That looks a lot better. So let me put this to the side. Let me get the matte out of here and the soft suede out of here. And let me do the technique. Now, what I did is I started one earlier because I want to keep this video 30 minutes. So let me bring over my white craft ink. If you saw my note ahead of time at 9:30, I go live at 10 o'clock Eastern every Sunday. And while I'm talking about that, I am not going to be live next week on December 25th or live on January 1st because those are major holidays. So I was looking at my calendar and I am off on December 26th, which is a Monday. So I'm going to attempt to go live on Monday, December 26th at 10 a.m. Eastern with 3 Paper Pumpkin alternative projects. So my Paper Pumpkin subscribers still get that tutorial and that video this month for the December. Now, my December Paper Pumpkin kit has not arrived yet. It says it's supposed to be here early this week. So if something happens with like the mail delivery or the shipping and there's delays, I might have to postpone. So if you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin from me, I do a PDF tutorial every month for my Paper Pumpkin subscribers. And that includes if you prepay or if you pay monthly. So let me know if you have questions about Paper Pumpkin. So the technique, I'm really not sure what you call this. It is Stampin Blends with white craft ink with a blender pen. So if anybody knows what this technique is called, please let me know so I can update this video later. So what I started and I colored 6 of the little hearts already with the start of the technique just so I wouldn't spend so much time coloring. But we're going to use the Whisper White Craft Refill. Now you can buy just the bottle or you can buy the bottle that also comes with a dry ink pad. And I know some of you watching or some of you on my mailing list have bought these 2 together, but you can also just buy the refill. So I'm just going to use the refill today. And I actually started this earlier this morning. So you're going to see a little bit of white craft ink on a Stampin' block. This is block C, as in Charlie. And I just dropped 1 drop on my clear block. Now you can use a plastic bag, a baggie, anything plastic will also work for this technique. I am going to take my blender pen and I am just going to dip in the white craft ink. And then I'm going to come over and make like a V on my little heart. And then I'm just going to start coloring in with the blender pen. And you want to try to not go all the way to the edge and not get your blender pen in your soft suede ink. It gets a little tricky up here where you have the little hash marks for the hearts. So just get that white on there. It's going to dry a little bit darker. And then let's just come do the other one. I just made like a V. And then just blend the white craft ink out. I don't want to see any like harsh lines if I can help it. And I'm kind of going over the suede there, but it's all good. Make a V and then color, 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 color. So you see I didn't want to do all 11 because this would eat up way too much time on my video. And this is so fun. I mean, I love to color. I love the line art stamps. I love to color. We were just talking about my grandmother yesterday, my grandparents. A low this week is that it was the 15th anniversary of my mom's passing on Friday. And on Thursday, it was the 30th anniversary of my grandfather, her father's passing. So we were talking a lot about my grandparents yesterday. We had my mom's side of the family Christmas gathering, and we actually showed a video that was 30 years old that had my grandparents both in it for the year he passed away, and it was really sweet to see that. So I got my color on there. I'm gonna set this aside to dry with the white craft. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to do the little handle. So there's this little handle here. I also did that. Okay, and then the rest of the basket, I am going to use Wink of Stella to wink it up and make it sparkly. So I'm done with my blender pen. This has got 2 tips on each side, and blender pens come in a pack of 3. So when you purchase these, I believe it's $12, but it may be different, and you get a 3-pack. And they don't last forever. Your tips are going to eventually kind of get cruddy and gross, and you got to throw them away. So they don't last forever, just FYI. I'm done with my craft ink on my block. I want to bring over my Wink of Stella. And if you don't know what this is, you got to have one of these in your stash. Or at times I've said you need to have like 10 of them in your stash. So once one runs out, because these also don't last forever, there's glitter inside, and it makes everything super sparkly, and you don't get glitter everywhere. So I'm just gonna follow the artist's lines on the basket. So this part of the basket, I will say, I think it was in September, we were in Maine at a crafting weekend, and I saw my friend Cheryl using this bundle for a swap. It had like apples in it, and it was a fall swap she was doing, and I'm like, that is super cute. And then she showed me the dies, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to buy that now. So it came into my stash probably within the last month or so after Cheryl enabled me. So I'm just gonna add some Wink and call it a day. And you can see how sparkly it is. Hopefully if I get close up here. So pretty. Okay, so I'm actually going to put the other pieces of my card together and let some of the craft ink dry a little bit before I show you the rest of the technique. So I'm going to put this aside for a minute and do the layers of my card. So I just have a fresh Freesia card base, so 4 1/4 by 11, scored in half at 5 1/2. I'm really digging this color. I've been using it so much. I am going to be so sad when it retires. I might actually have to have like a fresh Freesia farewell party. And I actually picked the Tea Boutique Designer Series paper, which I have not used in quite a while. It's in the 2022-2023 annual catalog on page 134. It's a 6x6 pack. So this is just a 2x5 inch piece. And on the back, oh my gosh, you guys, sneak peek alert. In the January to April 2023 catalog, there is going to be a new bundle that's got lemons in it. And I've been watching some training this week. It was from Vienna, Austria, from a Stampin' Up! On stage in November 2022. And I saw Tammy from California, a demonstrator, make some cute, cute, cute cards with the new lemon set and bundle. And she didn't just do lemons, she did oranges, and she did a coconut card and like pomegranate. So I am like, that was not on my wish list until I watched her video, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to get that now. So super, super cute. I have just a piece of Night of Navy. I should also mention, My friend Celine actually did a card. I believe it was for Casing Tuesday this week, and it was Fresh Freesia and Night of Navy. And I went like gaga for those two colors together. So thank you, Celine, for playing with those two colors together, because that kind of inspired me for what I was going to do today. This is just a 1/2 inch by 4.5 inch piece of Night of Navy. So it's amazing, just a little strip of cardstock. I'm going to butt it right up against the edge of the designer paper. And then I'm going to do my ribbon. My ribbon is the Fresh Freesia open weave ribbon, and it's a 5¼ inch piece. Before I adhere it down, I'm just going to snip the edges at an angle. I find it much easier to snip like this before I glue it down. And I'm just going to use two glue dots like in the middle to hold it down, because then I'm going to cover those up with the square. So super, super sweet and simple. And then I'm just gonna, I kind of want one edge of the freesia to kind of cover the navy a little bit. And my glue dots aren't quite in the middle, but that's okay. I think they're gonna be fine. Okay, let's come over and do the rest of the technique on my hearts. I wanted to say flowers, and I'm like, whoa, it's hearts, not flowers. So this is all nice and dry with the craft. If you need it to be dry immediately, you can use your heat tool to heat it up a little bit. So I am actually going to take the skinny end. This is my light Fresh Freesia skinny end, okay? I was watching the training, and a lot of the stuff they talked about when they talked about blends was using the skinny bullet end is what they call it. Then I'm just going to come over and color over my white craft. Okay, so this is so simple. And I'm sorry, this is going to take a minute to just color all these guys. So I'm just going to try to do it as quick as possible. And let me tell you about some of the other highs this week. Well, I got to present at our team meeting this past Sunday. It was so much fun. I went in person. I can tell you I had not gone to an in-person team meeting in a really long time. I actually showed up and my leader was like, I didn't know you were coming in person. So it was pretty funny. And I got to present and share some of my creative projects. And it was really, really cool. So I wanted to talk about the team. When I started this video, over my shoulder was some owl cards. And I'm going to show you one at the very end, because those were the cards we made at our team meeting this past Sunday. And one of them inspired this card. It was the technique I learned there. And I may have learned this technique a while ago when Stampin Blends first came out, but I forgot about it. You know, that's the thing about some of these techniques. They're like oldies but goodies. They come back. So if you have other techniques you want me to do in a future video in 2023, let me know. Or if you want me to show other techniques with white craft ink or Stampin Blends, let me know. So, and I also wanted to say is that our team meetings are hybrid. So if you don't live in northern Massachusetts or southern New Hampshire and you're someplace else in the United States and you'd like to come as my guest at our January meeting, let me know, because we're on Zoom and we meet on a Sunday afternoon at 3 Eastern. So it's a nice time to be with like-minded crafty friends for, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours max, but normally about an hour and a half. So I'll show you the owl card. They actually, okay, before I do that, I'm just going to talk about how I finished this off. Now I have the dark Fresh Freesia blend, and I'm using the bullet skinny end again, and just where the like little hash marks are, I am just going to give it a little bit of color with the dark Fresh Freesia Stampin' Blends markers. So if you're not familiar with blends, these are alcohol-based markers. Okay, so when you're using them, just coloring like stamp and color, straight stamp and straight color, you want to use Memento black ink with Stampin' Blends. This technique is a little bit different because I stamped in the soft suede and then I colored with the craft and then I colored over with the blends. Okay, So now I'm bringing in light Night of Navy Stampin' Blends, and I'm just going to do the little handle here, okay? And of course, I stamped a sample just so you could see the difference with what it would look like if I just stamped in soft suede ink and colored with a light Stampin' Blends. So this is the effect you would get, and this is the effect you get with the white craft coloring it. It's a totally different look, and it's really soft and pretty, and that's about all I can say about it. Okay, so I think we're done there. I got my Wink of Stella on my basket, so this is actually ready to go right to my Freesia card base. You can use Stampin' Dimensionals here to pop it up. I'm just going to use some liquid glue in the four corners. And what I did is I kind of put the square to one side. And you might want to kind of see how your greeting is going to line up before you kind of make sure it's down there. So that looks good to me. So I'm just eyeballing it and going for it. So we got our square on there, and then I can add my greeting, and I think this is the side I want, this is the side I don't want. So the side I don't want, get some glue, and then this is just gonna like hang off the side a little bit, kind of a little bit whimsical. And man, I might have to mail this out on Monday, tomorrow, to somebody. Okay. Super, super cute. I love it. And then just to finish it off, I added 3 of the solid faceted gems. And these come in 6 colors. I used them, I think it was last week in my live. So I am just going to put a little one down towards the bottom, and then a large and a small up near the top. So here I'll just grab a small. I'm kind of all over the place right now. And then I'll come over here and grab a large. So just sprinkle 3 on. If you're feeling more generous, you could certainly put more. And that is my card for today. So there'll be close-up pictures on my blog at christinestamps.blogspot.com. I am going to feature the Cheerful basket bundle as my pick of the week this week. So when I do my card on Tuesday for Casing Tuesday, I case, which is copy and share everything. There will be a card posted on my blog at christinestamps.blogspot.com on Tuesday. And we do that 52 weeks a year. So I will be taking Christmas and New Year's Day off, but I do plan to do a live on the 26th of December for my Paper Pumpkin alternative projects. And I do plan to do Casing Tuesday for the next couple weeks. So there will be content on my Facebook and on my blog. So let me see how much I covered and didn't cover. Let's see. I want to show you the owl card. So let me grab that really quick. Okay, so I'm feeling generous, so I'm going to show you the owl card. So let me actually take it out of the plastic so you can see it a little bit better. So this was the card that inspired me for this layout today. So it was the layout, and I actually flipped the designer series paper to the other side. And I added like another strip of cardstock. I did not do the embossing though. So this one was embossed with a cane weave embossing folder, and this is the new. So the owl comes from Celebration, and he will be available starting on January 5th, 2023. He's called Adorable Owls. That stamp set will be free with a $50 order, 50, before shipping and tax. So you can see I kind of did the white craft ink, but I screwed up some of it. Like I ended up just painting his beak and his feet with like straight Stampin' Blends. But I did use the white craft ink on his bow tie and his like his eyelids. So he ended up being really super, super cute. And then the paper, the designer paper, the patterned paper here, this is called Dandy Designs, and it's 12 by 12. And it's going to be available as a free Celebration item as well, starting January 5th, 2023. The paper pack is free with a $100 order before shipping and tax. So let me show you. All I can show you is the front cover of the catalog. So this is the little, it's really called a brochure. It's like it's a little, like 10 pages, I think, 12 pages, celebration brochure. So that kind of just gives you a quick sneak peek, and I have a couple things on their way to me, but with the shipping delays and the bad weather across the country right now, I placed my order December 2nd. It's still not here, and today is December 18th. So still waiting on my order. It's been all over the country, by the way. I think there were storms in Utah, in Colorado this past week, so it kind of went up to like Cheyenne, Wyoming, and I'm like, why is it going that direction? I live east. So it was kind of funny to be like, where in the world is my Stampin' Up! Box? Let's see. Yeah, I think I pretty much covered most everything. The last chance sale is still going on through January 4th, 2023, and there are items in the clearance rack. So those items are up to 60% off. So make sure you check that out. Obviously, it's a week today to Christmas, so those orders would not arrive by Christmas Day. And I'm going to bring the camera up at my face to sign off. I think I'm just going to be under 30 minutes, so I'm so happy about that. Oh, hey, Amy. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hi, Melissa. Thanks so much for tuning in today. So I can't see who's watching until I bring the camera back to my face. So sorry I didn't give you a shout out earlier. But I just want to thank my family and friends. I have family in town for Christmas and birthday celebrations. So today's actually a birthday celebration for a birthday at the end of the month. And we did Christmas with my mom's side of the family yesterday with my aunts and uncles and cousins. So it was good to see people in person. We had a few people that didn't make it, but we had about 20 of us. And then I got to see some family on Zoom. We did a Zoom call and a FaceTime call with some other family that live outside of the area. So great to see everybody. Thank you to my friends. I've been getting some amazing Christmas cards. So maybe when I do my live on the 26th, I'll show you some of the Christmas cards I've received the past couple weeks. So it's been fun to get happy mail, right? That's always a good time. And I just want to say another hi is I ended up locking my car this week. So you may have seen my posts, and I did talk about it, I think, last week, that I'm getting a Volkswagen electric car. Well, at my Christmas yesterday, something amazing happened because we have family friends that got theirs about 3 months ago. So I had been in one. I had sat in one at a car show and seen, like, you know, the back seat and the trunk and the frunk, as they call it in electric vehicles. So I had seen one and sat in it, but I actually got to ride in my first one yesterday with our friends Eric and Diane. So can't thank you enough, Eric and Diane, if you end up seeing this. We're actually going to go to ID4 brunch in January after the new year and actually answer all of my questions. But it was so amazing. And theirs is like a step down potentially from the one I'm going to get. So mine will actually be a little bit fancier. And theirs came from Germany too, and mine's coming from the U.S., from Chattanooga, Tennessee, where they're manufacturing them now finally. So very exciting, a little nerve-wracking for sure. But I just wanted to say thank you. And I think I did mention last week that like my short-term and my long-term goals. So when you support my business and support my family, short term I pay for like training to learn different techniques like I'm sharing with you today. And I also invest part of my commissions into buying new products so I can show you product that's coming out. And then my long-term financial is definitely to help pay towards like my bills, like my new car that's coming sometime between January and March. And then my trips, I have 3 trips planned, 2 crafting trips in 2023 to Maine, and then to a cruise that goes from Boston to Canada to Maine, and then back to Boston in the fall. And then a trip with my husband. Of course, I got to take at least one trip with my husband in April to New Orleans. So when you support my business, that helps me support my family. So thank you so much. And I just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy holidays, and I will see you on the 26th.